The enemy said I would always just play games and waste my time. I stood in the living room holding my tablet, silent. Dad laughed, pointing at me saying, "Look at your sister, so useless." Mom sat on the couch mocking me, saying art is useless. My brother leaned against the doorframe smirking. Relatives flooded the group chat with laughing faces and memes. My fingers trembled, I didn't respond. The air was thick with ridicule and superiority. I looked at them with cold indifference. My brother picked up my notebook from the desk without asking. Mom patted his shoulder as if praising him. Dad snorted in disdain. I set down my tablet and quietly walked to my room. Remembering chores and grades from my childhood. All my effort was met with a single line from my parents: "You're not good enough." My brother was always praised for being good at math and having big ambitions. I once hoped our family could feel warm again. But the seeds of favoritism had already taken root. I picked up my brush and began a new piece at my desk, trying to prove my worth through creation. My brother glanced at it and sneered, still saying I was playing childish games. I clenched my fists, anger rising. My parents continued to look at him, calling him their pride. I sighed softly, deciding to no longer seek their approval. Since college I dedicated myself to design. Late nights in the dorm with Brian finishing client projects. We started a small studio, working to expand our market. At first taking local small jobs, gradually landing larger companies. My brother's bank internship was glorified by the family. When I showcased my work at the dinner table, Mom barely acknowledged it. Dad just nodded without comment. Hearing my brother speak proudly fueled my determination. Every slight drove me to work harder. Brian always encouraged me, saying we would succeed. Our studio gradually expanded, revenue stabilized. Clients kept growing, even international brands collaborated with us. I still worked late nights designing websites and ads. Yet my parents still treated me like a child playing games. At one family gathering I presented a website I designed for a local brewery. Mom just glanced and said, "Evan is our pride." Dad didn't even look, saying he is the standard of success. My brother leaned arrogantly in his chair saying, "Your pixel games are cute." I twitched my lips, holding back my response. But these setbacks did not break me. They fueled my focus on career and skill development. We signed a 6-figure contract with a national retail chain. It was my largest deal to date. I had hoped my family would recognize my achievements. Yet at the gathering, they still only talked about Evan's bonus and promotion. I quietly put away my materials without arguing. I poured all my energy into expanding the studio and developing new clients. Dad saw me still drawing and scoffed, asking if I was still playing. I ignored him, focusing on design. One day, the family hosted a Facebook Live to show off Evan. Mom said I was still playing games like Marissa. Dad laughed, adding she's probably still leveling up in the basement. Relatives flooded the group chat with ridicule. I held my phone, fingers trembling, but didn't respond. I decided to leave the chat, focusing on work. Brian pulled me aside, saying, "Don't mind them, you're already amazing." We worked overtime completing client websites and brand designs. Day and night we built our portfolio and results. I no longer sought my parents' approval. Instead, I proved my worth with actual achievements. Weeks later, a friend forwarded me an internal bank memo about my brother, revealing he had falsified loan applications and embezzled funds. The bank immediately fired Evan and demanded repayment of $200,000. The news spread quickly in the community and industry. My parents used our family fund to cover his debt. They took $50,000 of my savings accumulated over the years. I immediately contacted a lawyer to protect my rights. Brian accompanied me to review legal options. The lawyer confirmed I had not disclosed any information and they could not sue me. I called my parents to confront them about using my money. Mom said coldly Evan needed it more, You don't understand family duty. Dad said family comes first, blood is thicker than water. My heart ached, yet I firmly refused to compromise. I left their house, focusing on studio expansion. We signed a $300,000 contract, scaling the company. Hired new designers, upgraded office equipment. My brother tried to intimidate me through a lawyer, but had no evidence. After our lawyer responded, he withdrew the threats. Brian held my hand, saying you are stronger than they imagined. I smiled, nodding, calm and fearless. I cut off contact with my parents, ignoring their calls and emails. Blocked all of my brother's attempts to reach me. I focused my life on the studio and Brian. The company's reputation grew, new clients kept coming. My brother moved back to Rockford, relying on parents, doing odd jobs. My parents' social standing declined, losing community respect. Brian and I married, balancing work and family. The studio steadily developed, becoming a recognized brand. I finally felt true freedom and respect. I realized my value didn't depend on others' approval. Cutting toxic family ties brought growth and happiness. Past humiliation became motivation and drive for success. I never looked back, focused on life and career. My family's failures and my brother's downfall served as a cautionary tale. I learned my effort and intelligence are what matter most. Brian has always been my steadfast support and partner. Together we create our future and shared dreams. I am no longer controlled by others' bias and belittling. Living freely and independently, I truly found myself. My career and family became proof of my worth. My brother's failure and parents' shame left me calm and victorious. I built a life and happiness of my own. Past grievances turned into tangible motivation. Cutting negative relationships allowed me to focus on growth and love. I no longer need anyone's approval or validation. Every project and success is proof of my abilities. Brian and I face life's challenges and opportunities together. Our studio sets industry standards and continues to grow. My parents' and brother's downfall taught me the importance of hard work. Freedom and happiness belong to me, not to anyone else.